Welcome back to Dinar Trend Tracker channel. Listen up, everyone. You need put down your phone and pay attention. News from the ground forces in Iraq is reaching us at this very moment, and it is a bombshell. We all listen carefully to our guru Frank 26, and he has described this new breakthrough as incredibly powerful and monstrous, so it's not just hearsay. The headline that we are analyzing today makes it crystal clear. The 1-to-1 dinar rate proposed by Iraq was requested by the U.S. Treasury. Reset is almost here. Listen up, this ain't no experiment. The game is about to take a dramatic turn, and this is the move everyone has been waiting for. Omar, an insider close to Frank, has given us data that are really mind-blowing, and we are talking about the latter stages before the worldwide presentation. This revision alters the whole schedule and verifies that the last phases of the reassessment are currently underway at the most advanced levels. Without further ado, let us have the intelligence report. According to Omar, a source with feet on the ground for Frank 26, he is reporting what he hears and sees on Iraqi television. Trust me, this is huge. This has not been discussed in a secret meeting. The Iraqi public media are discussing this openly. Omar claims that the topic of asking for permission is now being discussed. Give that some thought. They are officially asking for approval. The question is, who are they inquiring about? You can find this request for permission in the report. Is being aimed towards the powerful institutions of the U.S. Treasury, UK and France. To put it simply, these are the cornerstones of international monetary policy. Because of this move, Iraq has finished preparing internally, and is now waiting to be admitted to the world community at its new true value. The diplomatic checkpoint has come to an end. What are they requesting authorization for precisely? Prepare to be astounded by this section. Their goal is to request authorization to meet one-on-one. 1 Iraqi dinar is equivalent to $1. Just think about that for a second. A minor tweak, a 10% shift or the removal of a single digit is not what we are referring to. Going from the present program rate to a peg of 1-to-1 with the global reserve currency would be a huge step forward. An example of shock and awe would be this. When you do this, you instantly create indisputable power and stability. Frank 26 is not exaggerating when he says this is really powerful. As a starting pistol, this 1-to-1 peg is used. It is the base upon which the entire float, the complete actual revaluation, is built. It marks the commencement of the final leg of this protracted voyage. You can judge how important this intelligence is by Frank's reaction to it. He was so moved by it that he expressed regret that he had not yet had a printed piece about it. Seriously, this is brand new. The Iraqi media broadcasted this first, so it hasn't even had time for the press to write it up and disseminate it yet. He implied that we could be aware. What, you receive an article for a while? Things are moving at this pace when we are this near to the finish line, so he believes we would. Over and over, he used the adjectives enormous and hideous. We should all pay extreme attention when an experienced intel supplier like Frank, who has witnessed innumerable rumors come and go, employs language of such intensity. This is more than a preparatory measure. You will reach this place. Frank presents a crucial question. So let's examine it now. Iraq is a sovereign nation. Why should it be required to seek approval to determine its own currency rate? The solution to this riddle lies in the response. Frank gives an excellent explanation. They need to show the Iraqi people the new lower denomination notes and the new exchange rate, therefore they're requesting authorization to do so. This is the revelation from within. However, the international financial community, headed by THU's Treasury, must fully support them before they can turn the switch domestically. A 1-to-1 rate inside Iraq would be impossible if it weren't immediately recognized by all global central banks and Forex platforms. The last step in synchronization is this request. Because of this, we can proceed to the next stage of the process. So, what happens when they get the go-ahead to meet one-on-one? Frank has got it all figured out. The blasted thing will be floated by them. A long time has passed, and now this is all. The ultimate goal is not to achieve a 1-to-1 ratio. The launch pad is here. The starting gate is here. Iraq sets a very strong foundation by determining that its currency will be pegged to the dollar 1-to-1. It maintains order. Instantaneously, it stabilizes their economy. This paves the way for the dinar to decouple from the peg and circulate freely among the world's currencies. With this float, Iraq's gold, enormous oil and gas reserves, and expanding non-oil economy can finally show their worth. And why is that being done? Will it float? Once the dinar is no longer bound to the one-to-one beginning line, where does it go from here? Frank also verifies this. He said they will aim to reach the RAI after they are at 1-to-1. The reinstatement rate is that. This rate represents their nation's real worth based on its history and assets. No, this isn't some arbitrary figure. This valuation has been carefully considered and is being accepted by the world. Their journey from the initial 1-to-1 point to that ultimate restoration value is facilitated by the float. Reintroducing a currency to the global stage through this process, a steady peg followed by a restricted float, is the most powerful, logical, and reliable option. No, it's not conjecture. This is the unfolding of sound economic policy. Frank goes so far as to provide us with the goal figures that the experts and insiders have been debating for years. According to him, the goal for this float is to achieve an RI of $3.22. Quite a few of you will be familiar with that number. Up until now, this assessment has remained unchanged. The calculation should not be based on Iraq's huge proved assets but on its MON and M2 money supplies. However, he continues much beyond that. According to him, it might reach $4.25. Once completely integrated into the global basket of currencies, the DNR would hold this higher number, which represents the true effective exchange rate or the RIR. According to Omar's information, the first and most incredible step, the 1-to-1 permission, is being implemented at this very now. The fact that Iraqi television is airing this discussion brings us full circle. One of the most underappreciated yet crucial sections of the study, in my view. Excuse me, but this is not a brief. You won't hear this in the deep state. The Iraqi people learn about this as part of their public school curriculum. In anticipation of this enormous economic change, the government is training its citizens. Expectations are being managed by them. Coordination with the U.S. Treasury and other global powers is a public demonstration of their trust. A huge sign of self-assurance is T's public signaling. Their true motives are now being revealed. Their objective is being declared with firmness. That means they know for sure that the request for authorization will be approved. The link to the new smaller denomination notes is likewise impossible to overlook. There is an unbreakable relationship between the introduction of the new currency and the need for a 1-to-1 exchange. Everyday transactions made with 25,000 and 50,000 DNR notes would be completely out of place in an economy pegged to the US dollar. Both mathematically and logically, it does not make sense. Accordingly, requesting 1-to-1 transactions activates the new currency. This means that as soon as authorization is obtained, the 100 dinar notes as well as 1s, 5s, 10s, 25s, and 50 will be printed and secured. The screens of the banks will display the new rate. The new precious currency will be loaded into the ATMs and then citizens will have it in their hands. We must hunt for this physical reset or face the gravity of directly contacting the U.S. Treasury. No new exchange rate gets the Treasury's stamp of approval without serious consideration. Iraq has been demonstrating its preparedness for years, and this is the last stage. Its stability, cooperation with Article Rov 8, anti-money laundering efforts, budget approval, and complete connection with the global financial system have all been demonstrated. There is no may we please about this request for authorization. We are officially ready to proceed. We have fulfilled all of your specifications. Then we may start, so please sign off. As a last hurdle there is the Treasury, followed by Britain and France. Per this source, Iraqi forces are reportedly making their way briskly to the checkpoint today. What does this horrific news imply for all of our viewers, especially the investors who have been holding on to the Iraqi dinar through thick and thin? As a result, you may finally relax. That the day we've all been waiting for is finally here right now instead of someday in the future. The worldwide revaluation is the next logical step if Iraq has officially requested the 1-to-1 peg from the U.S. Treasury. A new budget or law is now irrelevant. In and of itself, this is it. Here we can see the reset mechanism being activated. It shows that the major nations are prepared to acknowledge Iraq's changed economic situation. Plus, it's the strongest signal we've heard so far. For the sake of clarity, I'd like to reiterate how crucial the float is. As a result of mistaking it for the $3.22 they had hoped for, Some may experience a brief pang of disappointment when hearing 1-to-1. You need to grasp to get on the float, you need the 1-to-1. In reality, the prize is the float. Their economy is shielded from the impact of hyperinflation by beginning at 1-to-1. They construct a solid and defendable foundation, and they let the market, supported by their assets, gradually raise the rate to its actual worth. An abrupt increase to $3.22 in a single day may throw the economy into disarray. However, a peg at 1-to-1, preceded by a managed float to $3.22 and possibly $4.25. That is a very solid, long-lasting, and well-respected change. We have not heard of a more powerful or rational procedure than this one, the revaluation. No, this is real. The economics here are solid. So far this year, this report from Omar via Frank26 has been the most important piece of intelligence that we have gotten. That the last domino is about to fall is implied by it. The reset has passed its peak, it has arrived. Someone is trying to get in. We have been eagerly anticipating this news. We appreciate you watching Iraqi Dinar. The public worldwide revelation could happen at any second now that this is happening right now. So stay tuned to the news. A cheerful attitude and readiness are key. Look at this.